Hi, guys, and welcome back to the All Sports Focus podcast. We're back here of our Week 1 NFL games and a Week 2 of the college football season. Just back with three of us tonight. We got Pap and Ryan. Say what's up.
What's up, everybody?
We're going to be just, recapping Week 1 from college football and then talking about the basically only one good game of Week 2. So we're going to start off in the college football, but real quick before we do, so Ryan doesn't get mad at me, we're going to go to the intro. All right, so recapping week number 1. I just want to address the elephant in the room. First off here, we understand our game picks were horrific this last week. We all 6 went 1-4 on the game picks, and the game that we did get right was the game that was the most highly favorited towards the winning team's side. A lot of close games. I mean, the Texas game, we'll start off in the Texas game. I mean, that was just kind of ugly on both sides of the ball, in my opinion. Just really, really good defense, I would definitely say, by Ohio State for sure, and good defense by Texas. But I mean, Matt Patricia and that Ohio State defense had Arch Manning looking confused. It was bad. They had him lost. So what are your thoughts? Ryan, what's your thought on that game?
Yeah, I don't really think either offense honestly played that well. You look at the final yardage numbers and everything. Ohio State had, 205 yards or something small. Texas outgained them yards-wise just in the second half alone. So I wasn't super impressed on either side of the ball. I think Julian Sand looked a little bit more comfortable, I would say, just kind of with the surrounding cast. I think he had a little bit more of a run game established, a little bit more protection in the pocket. Versus Arch did kind of look rushed. He looked kind of just hurried up throughout the day, and I think that was why he was off. He put together a great drive to score their touchdown to make it a game, but yeah, I think both offenses were really terrible. This is not the version that we're going to see of Ohio State or the version we're going to see of Texas by the time that we get to November, December timeframe. Both of these offenses, I think, are going to be a heck of a lot better.
Pap, what's your thought on that game?
Not much, because Arch Manning was very disappointing. I mean, I think Ryan throws a better ball than Arch. That shit was wobbly as hell. Every ball, it was like, even wide open balls are just a freaking wobble fest, and it was just ugly. I mean, I'm not kidding. I put the money line on basically like every one of those teams I picked. Didn't hit a single one, so I'm just kind of hate college football until Notre Dame plays again in 2 weeks. So I'm just going to kind of just stop talking because I'm annoyed just talking about it.
Pap's picks did not look too hot last week, to say the least. Just real quickly, like we talked about last week's podcast, it's week 1. I mean, all these teams, basically, I would say at least the 3 big games in Texas, Ohio State, LSU, Clemson, and Miami, Notre Dame. I think all 6 of those teams will still be in the college football playoff. No doubt in my mind on whichever side of the game they were on. But, I mean, moving into the next game, it was Bama, Florida State. Really good showing by Florida State. I mean, the team, they look good. But also at the same time, besides Ty Simpson, Alabama's team, I don't think got off the bus. Every single time. I wasn't entirely locked in that entire game, but just like the plays I was watching, I felt like Ty Simpson was running for his life every single time. And Florida State was doing whatever they wanted on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, it was just kind of a big flop by Alabama. And so instead of talking about the game, I'm actually going to raise you guys a question because Ryan texted it in the group chat. I think it's time to officially say that Kalen DeBoer is on the hot seat. Agree or disagree? Pap, what is your first thoughts?
I completely agree because it wasn't. Obviously I know like you said, the Bama players going to come off the bus, but I throw that on DeBoer more than the players because I think they kind of thought I thought he was going to go in there and they were just going to kind of run the show because obviously we saw Florida State last year, and then compared to this year, it's a whole different team. I mean, you could tell that they were slow off the get-go. I watched most of that game, and there wasn't much pop out of Alabama at all. and Florida State was just kept pummeling them with big play after big play, and they just seemed dead. They had no response for 4 quarters of football, and you cannot win like that. When you're a top 10 team and you play like that, they shouldn't even be in the top 20 after last game's performance the way they played.
Ryan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I don't know. I was watching some clips that people were showing of just the lack of effort by some of the Alabama players, and then their warm-ups, just how different it looks now versus under Saban. I just don't think that they have any of what it meant to be at Alabama anymore. I don't know. It's not a lack of talent. It's a lack of effort, I think, across the board for them. Because I think it would have been one thing if you had gone in and you're playing somebody who obviously has you outmatched. You're going into Columbus and you're playing Ohio State as the number 3 team in the country or whatever, and you lose by a touchdown or 10 points or something. But this was going into Tallahassee, not far from Tuscaloosa, not a super overly hostile environment, in a case where you arguably have more talent than Florida State, and you just get your shit kicked in from the very first snap of the game. And there was just no fire from Alabama. And I think, like Pap said, that's got to be put on DeBoer, and that's got to be put on the coaching staff. And I think you're going to see pretty quickly here that I don't know that he lasts a whole second season if they already having a couple bad losses last year, keeping them out of the playoffs. I think if they have any more bad losses this year, we start to really look at what does it look like for the future, because it may not be DeBoer as a coach anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there's real possibilities both sides. I get it's week 1 of this season, 1 loss, but I mean, this stems back to last year with the loss to Oklahoma, the loss to Vanderbilt, when it was a pretty open college football playoff. I mean, you look at those bottom 4 seeds last year. I mean, let's say if Alabama cuts out one of those losses, they're in the playoff. If they don't lose to Oklahoma there at the end of the season, they're in the playoff. They were the number 1 ranked team at one point in the country after they upset Georgia. I wouldn't say upset, but they beat Georgia. So, I mean, we've seen the good and bad sides of Kalen DeBoer, and I'm rooting for the guy because obviously there's nothing tougher than following up the GOAT of college football coaching. That's obviously going to be a very difficult task no matter what, but he's got to figure it out because, I mean, it's Alabama. You think of Alabama in college football and you think of them on the same pedestal as Georgia and Clemson and Notre Dame and those type of schools. Like that's the S tier of college football. And right now Alabama isn't at that because let's be honest, Florida State isn't like a top 5 team in the country. Like, oh my God, everybody's scared of these guys. No, but they got to clean it up. The next game we're going to talk about here, I'm not really going to talk about it much because it was kind of a slow game. It was kind of like the Texas-Ohio State game. Kind of repeat of it was the Clemson-LSU game. Both quarterbacks did not look fantastic. Garrett Nussmeier, I do shout out Barian Brown, ex-Kentucky wide receiver. They got ripped off on that 1 touchdown. Holy crap. I don't know how they didn't call that a touchdown. But, decent game. Cade Klubnik did not look great. Him being all of our Heisman picks didn't really look amazing. But that's really all we're going to say about that one because this next game is even more important to talk about. We were talking about it obviously a lot last night when it was going on, but the Notre Dame-Miami game, this was a little different, a lot more scoring, a lot more of an action-packed game. And, I mean, even Pap said it last night in the group chat. This ain't going to settle Notre Dame's season. It's not at all. A lot of new players on the team, a lot of new faces, new quarterback, new defensive coordinator. I mean, the list goes on for the Notre Dame. And CJ Carr looked good. He battled. I mean, that drive that they had to get it within a field goal or touchdown, whatever that was at the end of the game, they looked good. Then, I mean, on the flip side, on the positive side, Miami looked damn good too. That catch, you gotta be honest, dude. That one-hand catch was a freaking snag in the end zone by Miami.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was
good.
But Pap said if the safety would have just stepped up, he would have had an interception. But
you really saw him. He freaking jumps up like this, like just break it up. Like
his body expression afterwards.
That's crazy.
I think he thought that he was not even going to come close to catching. I thought he was going to it looked like he thought he was going to be able to catch the interception in his chest, literally like this. But
yeah,
I mean, Ryan, or I'll start with Pap. What were your thoughts on both sides of the ball, Notre Dame and Miami, in this game last night?
On offense, I didn't think it was a player issue. I don't think anyone was struggling terribly when it came to skill players. I think it was the play calling. I think we kind of kept settling with these screen bubbles like this stuff, and that's what eventually kind of killed us at the end there. Then obviously I think our left and right tackle were abysmal. I think they could run block all they wanted because we were able to get on the outside, but when it came to pass blocking, too much pressure for a freshman QB. And you could tell that like towards that end of the game, he started to get a little bit of happy feet because he didn't know if like the guy was just going to come over and just take him out. But then on defense, I think our defensive line's small. Pass rush isn't there. I think our defensive backs will adjust just fine. I think it'll just take time. I mean, we have a bunch of returners there. But yeah, I think it's just going to be defense, and our linebackers struggled with just like kind of that middle. Everything was underneath against them really, and we struggled against that. So I think we just need to maybe sprinkle in more blitzes to get more pressure because, I mean, Beck had all the time in the world back there. So yeah, I think it's just some coaching issues there, maybe just better play calling on both sides of the ball, and I think we'll be able to fix it up. Like you said, by all means, our season isn't even close to being over. I think we just lost to a good team, and I think we'll both end up probably seeing each other again in the playoffs.
Real quick before Ryan, you go, I just think, like I said multiple times, I think it's obvious that both of these teams will be in the playoffs. I mean, watching that game and look at both sides, brand new quarterback, brand new in the systems. Well, CJ Carr was there last year technically, but I mean, they looked both those teams looked good. They looked like top 12 teams in the country, and there's no doubt in my mind. So Ryan, you go ahead. What's your thoughts from last night?
Yeah, I think Pap hit it. Number one, which was pass rush for both sides of the ball. Miami had it all night, and especially the last drive was all over CJ Carr. I mean, he had no shot at all, and they were forcing him into quicker throws. They were forcing him into sacks almost the entire day. Versus Notre Dame was getting no pressure, which was giving Carson Beck a lot more time to make decisions and then hit crossing routes and hit things across the middle, taking advantage of some matchup advantages against linebackers across the middle and some of those underneath routes. So that's my key. I think if you're Notre Dame is shoring up, what does that look like on the defensive side? How do we kind of compensate for having a smaller defensive line that's maybe not getting as much pressure as we'd like? How do we kind of mix that up? Do we push a linebacker up onto the line of scrimmage? Do we bring in another defensive lineman? You know, there's a lot of different things. Pap even mentioned more blitzes, things like that to kind of get pressure still on the opposing quarterback. And then on the offensive side of the ball, I think you kind of had to go to some of those screens and bubble routes just because you weren't getting enough time to hit more deep developing plays down the field. But you've got to figure out a way because you can't win bigger games throwing screen passes and tight end screens and bubbled routes and stuff. You have to figure out ways. So whether that's RPOs, option stuff.
Giving the ball to a Heisman running back.
Exactly. Using the run game to open up some of those passing lanes. You got to do something to change that going forward. But hats off to Miami. Played really well. Carson Beck played well. Didn't make mistakes. I think that's kind of the biggest key with him and the Miami system. But like everybody has said, this is definitely not the last of either of these teams' seasons. Same as the Texas-Ohio State, that we're not going to see the same version of Notre Dame and Miami come 2-3 months from now.
And I talked a lot of shit about the ACC in the first episode. The ACC didn't look too bad, obviously besides Clemson, but it's not looking too bad. I think
Tennessee kicked the shit out of Syracuse too.
I thought that was only like a 10-point game or something like that, maybe 14. But I mean, we all kind of expected that. Syracuse
got close in the fourth quarter and kind of garbage time, but
I mean,
it was like 30-0 at one point.
I mean, Syracuse ain't really a ACC powerhouse, though. We're not really talking about Syracuse being in the playoffs. But that being said, it's going to wrap up our Week 1 recap. The only the only ranked game of Week 2 that we're going to talk about here is the University of Michigan versus the University of Oklahoma. It's a top 20 matchup as of now, could possibly shift into a top 15 matchup once the new rankings come out. But initial thoughts here, I thought Bryce Underwood, looked very good in their Week 1 game. Yes, it was against New Mexico. So take that into a kind of thought process there. Did not watch Oklahoma play Week 1 because I have no idea who they even played. They probably played a nobody. So what are your guys' thoughts? Who do you guys think is going to win this game? Ryan?
I think I'll give the nod towards Oklahoma. I don't know. Is Michigan's coach suspended for this game or not?
No, I don't think so.
Thought he was.
But I do think Oklahoma kind of gets the nod here. I think Michigan's still trying to figure some stuff out. Oklahoma returned a lot more guys. So I do think kind of in the semblance of what we've seen, some of the newer quarterbacks have struggled a little bit more against the tough competition versus the returners. But I do think it'll end up being close. I think this is like a 24-21, 24-17 kind of game, in my opinion.
Yeah, Furlmore is still coaching. He's out for this year. He's out for Central Michigan and Nebraska. But yeah, I like Oklahoma here. I think that people tooted Bryce Underwood's horn a little bit too much for a week 1 win against New Mexico. I mean, they didn't look great, to be honest. And I mean, Bryce Underwood had all the time in the world in that pocket, and I don't know if they have enough playmakers to beat Oklahoma. And I just think it'll be overwhelming for a freshman quarterback to go into Oklahoma when they're top 15 game by that time. And it's going to be loud and it's going to be tough. We might see a little bit, something like Arch Manning, where
Is
it's
it at
going to be
Oklahoma?
tough for him to
It is at Oklahoma.
It's at Oklahoma, yeah. And yeah, I think it's going to be tough for them. I like Oklahoma probably by, like what Ryan said, 3, maybe a touchdown. It'll be a good game.
I'm actually going to go on the flip side here. I'm actually going to pick Michigan. I just think, obviously, freshman quarterback going on his first true game, I would say, first true road test, going into an SEC school, a night game, on the 7:30 game. I don't know. I just got a feeling. I think Michigan's defense under Wink Martindale, the old Giants defensive coordinator, they look pretty good. They're very blitz heavy. They're very aggressive. They're like, we're going to smother you. We're going to make you like feel that we're here. So I think that's going to play a factor on Oklahoma's offense. And I feel like Bryce Underwood's going to have a good game. I could see this being another low scoring game, kind of staying with the trend of the big games from this past weekend. I could see this end up being like a 17-14, 14-10 final score here. And I'm going to lean towards Michigan. I don't know. Not a Michigan fan. Don't get me wrong. I don't root for them, but I just feel like that's going to happen. I don't always trust Oklahoma either with Brent Venables as their head coach. They're very inconsistent. So that's my thought process. We're going to take a quick little break here, and then we're going to hop right back in, and we're going to talk about week 1 of the NFL season. So we'll see you guys after the break.
All right, guys. So we had game of the week here, Michigan State, Western Michigan. Michigan State's going to pick up a win here pretty handily. Rushing offense, decent. Quarterback needs a lot of work. The wide receivers, though, solid. I didn't know going into this game the past few home openers, not too good. We know with the MAC, anything's possible. Sorry, Notre Dame fans. Northern Illinois is still on top. But quarterback needs work. Secondary needs work, but the pass rush is good. So, yeah, go Spartans, fuck the Broncos, and let's have another great year of college football. Let's go.
Hi, guys, and welcome back from the break. We're going to be flipping sides here to the NFL. It is officially week 1 of the NFL season. Really looking forward to this. This is when sports are in a full swing. NFL is in play. College football is in play. The MLB is wrapping up the end of the season. The Ryder Cup is coming up here in a couple weeks. So we're very looking forward to this time of the year. But starting off here with the NFL, how can we start off with the NFL and not talk about the Micah Parsons trade? It happened last Thursday, I believe. Yes, last Thursday. Obviously, Pap is not happy about it since he is in the NFC North. I am ecstatic about it. So we don't have to play him twice a year anymore. And every single time we played him, he had about 2.5 sacks. So I'm more than happy about it. But we're going to quickly assess who won this trade and what grade we're going to give this trade. We're going to talk about we're going to give a grade for both sides. Starting off, I think this is an absolute win for the Packers. I get you gave up 2 first-round picks. That's might scare you, but when you look at it, that, in my opinion, you got the number. You could either say the best pass rusher in the NFL or the second best pass rusher in the NFL. And you got him, and you gave up an aging D tackle, and then re-signed Micah Parsons for a 4-year contract extension. I think that is an absolute win for the Packers. Ryan, what's your thought?
I give it an A-,
Not
B+.
grades, not grades. Who won the trade?
I definitely think the Packers won the trade for sure. I don't think you can really look at it any other way, considering the Niners gave up more first-round picks to draft Trey Lance than the Packers did to get Micah Parsons.
A crazy way to look at that.
I think that alone...
That's a crazy way to look at that. I didn't even think about that.
So I think that alone says the Packers won the trade. I'll save the rest for my grade.
Pat?
Yeah, I mean, Packers won the trade. First-round picks. I mean, gave up first-round picks, Packers did, but Packers are notoriously terrible at making first-round picks anyways. So
Exactly.
maybe it's better they just shipped him away. Kenny, what's his name? Kenny Clark?
Kenny Clark,
yeah. Whatever his name is. Yeah, Kenny Clark. Yeah, he was solid, but ain't Micah Parsons level. And yeah, I mean, I think the Packers are obviously going to improve on this, but I just don't know how much yet. I don't know if 2 first-round picks and a D tackle is going to get you over the hump just to get Micah Parsons. I don't know if Micah Parsons is going to be the piece that they're missing. I think you just got to have to let them play out, let the trade play out, and reassess when it's all said and done.
Yeah. I think the big thing to note on is, though, that this completely solidifies that the NFC North is the best division in football. There is no doubt in my mind. Obviously, the top 2 dogs of this division now are the Lions and the Packers. You still got the Vikings there in play, and really all they lost from last year was Sam Darnold. They're just switching quarterbacks, which, yes, he was a big part of why they did what they did. Then you could even, the Bears probably aren't going to win the division, but they're going to be there. They're going to be a decent team. So, I mean, this week 1 game, Lions and Packers on Sunday afternoon, I am so damn excited to watch it because there's Micah Parsons is kind of questionable with his back injury still, kind of iffy here or there, but most likely expect him to play. That's going to be one hell of a game. We'll get to that game here very shortly. But grading the trade real quick, I think I'm going to give the Packers an A. I am so blatantly happy about this for multiple reasons. I hope Jerry Jones lives forever, and I hope he's the Cowboys GM for forever. As a Giants fan, no Cowboys fan is going to agree with me. But I'm going to give the Packers an A, and I'm going to give the Cowboys, I'm going to give them a fat, stinking freaking D-. I'm not going to give them an F just because they got the 2 first-round picks. But I'm sorry, I don't think any of the guys that you draft in those first-round picks and their Packers picks, so they're going to be probably mid to high 20s at least. Nobody you draft in that level is going to be a Micah Parsons type of player. So those are my grades for the trade. Ryan?
Yeah, like I started to say, I give this an A- B+ for the Packers. I think it's big to definitely help kind of in their championship window, go in and get pieces that can help you get to the Super Bowl and win it and get over the hump, especially against a Lions team that's got Aiden Hutchinson, who is a dominant pass rusher. But I think the drawback is just the salary stuff. You're now paying 2 players on the Packers roster combined over $100 million per year. So I think that's going to have some pretty serious cap implications down the road based on how they work that out. That is really going to limit their ability to sign free agents and to kind of re-sign some of their own homegrown talent as well. So that's why I give it a little bit lower. And then I think this is like a C- for the Cowboys because the return on who Micah Parsons is and the player that he is worth a lot more than just 2 first-round picks and an aging 30-year-old defensive tackle. I think you could have at least gotten Van Ness or somebody else who could have potentially been a younger guy that stars for a couple more years.
Pat, what are your grades here?
Yeah, I'm going to give Packers an A. I mean, I have to. And then I'm going to give Cowboys an F. Frickin' Jerry Jones is to get out of town and just pop in hospice.
No. Let him stay for as long as he so wishes. Be my guest.
I absolutely hate him. It's actually frickin', he's just like an idiot, bro. He just sits there and says stupid. I'm just done. Next game.
Yeah. Not going to talk too much about it, but moving in to week 1 games, you're really going to talk about the big couple games. You'll get to see on our Instagram the full picks for every single one of our games this week. All the guys love me freaking hassling about them, making them send me game picks. Hey, I will give you the 2 of these guys sitting here in the props, though. They always respond within the first freaking 20 minutes. So, Garrett, Troy, Sean, get better at responding. Hope you guys hear that. Starting off week 1, we were just talking about one of these teams. Thursday night, the opening night of the NFL, the Cowboys and the Eagles play the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to blow them out. I'm sorry, that's a little over exaggeration. I don't like the Cowboys, but I think the Eagles are going to win. No means I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but no Micah Parsons. I feel like Jalen Hurts is going to have a nice day, and I believe Saquon Barkley as well, since he was my first-round pick in our fantasy draft tonight. But I think the Eagles are going to win this one. Ryan?
Yeah, I do think the Eagles get this one done. Overall, just better roster construction, established coaching staff versus a new head coach for the Cowboys. And also, I think Cowboys just reeling a little bit from the Micah Parsons trade and kind of how it all went down. So I do think the Eagles get it done there. It's definitely not a blowout, but I think it's a pretty comfortable win for the Eagles.
Where is it played at?
It's in Philadelphia.
All right. Yeah, I just had that upset pick of the week, but now that it's in Philadelphia, I'm just not even going to play games with it. I like the Eagles here pretty comfortably. Saquon probably going to get touchdown. Hurts, tush push, touchdown, ban to play. And then, I think they win. Probably they cover the spread. They just do their thing. And yeah, Eagles win.
Okay. We Eagles sweep it there. Moving on. There is the game in Brazil. Still think that is the stupidest game with everything going on in Brazil, but we're not going to talk about that. We are a sports podcast.
No politics here.
Yep, we are a sports podcast. Chiefs-Chargers, that's a good game. We're not really going to talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it, actually. This is one of the bigger games. What are your guys' thoughts? I think the Chiefs are going to get it done. Chargers got a little bit better of a squad this year, but I really think that Rashawn Slater injury really hurt them at the beginning of this year just after re-signing him. I think that's going to hurt them a little bit, not having their biggest protector on the O-line. Still got Joe Alt, but I think that's going to hurt them a little bit, Ryan?
Honestly, I think the Chargers get the upset here.
He loves the Chargers. And he hates the Chiefs. He'll never pick the Chiefs.
He just hates the Chiefs. It's not that he loves the Chargers. He's never going to pick the Chiefs.
I don't love the Chargers, and I have picked the Chiefs before in games.
I love it.
I just think with all of everything that's going on in this game in Brazil, and then McDuffie hasn't signed a contract. Rashee Rice is suspended for 6 games. All the Travis Kelce stuff. I just think there's a lot of things going on around the Chiefs organization that we saw them basically come within a toe of losing the season opener last year to the Ravens. And I think the Chargers is a team that Jim Harbaugh hasn't playing really great football. Justin Herbert's playing. They're not asking him to do as much. And so I do think that in a kind of low scoring, more slog it out type of game, the Chargers get this one done early on.
Mm-hmm.
Not much to say here. I think Taylor Swift and the Chiefs get it done.
Taylor Swift and the Chiefs. All right. Shout out Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. That's going to piss Ryan off. Giants Commanders. Let's talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to talk about it.
Well said. We're going to have a 2-hour-long podcast.
All right, shut up. Here we go. Lions Packers. We were just talking about this game. NFC North clash right here in week number 1. We got 2 of them. They got the whole division playing each other. But starting off with the Lions and the Packers, I still think the Lions get it done. I think there's just too much questions going around the Packers right now. It is in Green Bay, which could play a factor, but I do think the Lions will get it done. It's going to be a very close game. I'm excited to see both these teams. I think both these teams will be playoff teams. I think the battle of the NFC North will come down to these 2 teams, but I think the Lions get it done here in week number 1. Ryan?
Yeah, I think the Lions get it done here too. Micah Parsons probably not playing, or if he is in a pretty limited capacity, Lions pretty much full strength, and I do think they come out strong here and establish the run game early on with their kind of 2-headed monster in the backfield and kind of ride that to a win, even in neighboring Green Bay, and take control of the NFC North to start off the season.
And then Pap, we obviously know who you're going to pick, but...
Give me the Lions. Got a Lions pumpkin here. Got it at Meyer today before I came back. I like the Lions. I think this is our year. I'm excited. And I'm just confident that Ben Johnson wasn't what caused his success. It was Dan Campbell. And I'm just excited to see the boys back out there, man. They kind of control my mood, so I just hope they win.
Hopefully that's not a real pumpkin, Pap, or that thing will go bad in about a week. Is it fake?
It's real.
I know. Okay.
Yeah, it's real. It's okay.
All right. So, moving on here.
I'm breaking it if we lose. So.
Wow. Week 1. He's throwing it away already. Here we go. Sunday Night Football. I think this will be the game of the week. A rematch of one of the better games of last season. Rematch of the AFC divisional round as well, right? No. Yes, That's what I thought. Ravens and the Bills in Buffalo. Reigning MVP Josh Allen back at it. Give me the Buffalo Bills. Since the Buffalo Bills are the Kentucky Pipeline, and This game could go either way. Flip of a coin, honestly, in my opinion. I'm going to go with the Bills. Ryan, I hope that makes you happy. But I'll let the Bills fan himself kind of talk more about the game. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do think this one's going to be a tough one. I think being in Buffalo helps a little bit. But, I mean, hats off. The Ravens are an outstanding team. Lamar's playing well. I'm interested to see how Josh does kind of coming out since this is the first year he hasn't played any preseason games. So it'll be interesting to see. They've had obviously Hard Knocks there, the crew and stuff as well. A little bit of a distraction in training camp. Had some defensive struggles in a couple of the preseason games as well. So it would not surprise me if the Ravens got a win here in a close one. I do think the Bills tend to have a little bit more mojo when they play at home, which I think could help them. But this one's going to be really close. It's going to be a battle of two outstanding quarterbacks, arguably top three in the AFC for sure, and if not in the entire NFL. And then I think more so comes down to who plays better of James Cook versus Derrick Henry, and then the turnover battle. Whichever one of the running backs can get going, and then if the Bills defense can force a turnover, and if Josh Allen can avoid turnovers like he did all of last year, then that's really going to be the two keys, I think, are those two matchups.
Pat?
Yeah, I like the Ravens here. I mean, I love Josh Allen, but I just think the Ravens get it done. I think Derrick Henry will be pretty dominant in this game. But, yeah, I just like the Ravens there. I don't have much to say.
Okay. And then we're not really going to talk about the Monday Night Football game. It's Vikings-Bears. Should still be a very good NFC North game, but not as big as those other 4 games that we talked about. With that being said, unless you guys have anything else, we're going to wrap this one up. This will be a little on the shorter side this week, since kind of a recap, and we don't want to bore you guys to death with giving a pick for every single game, because then that defeats the purpose of the Instagram post. So, with that being said, it's going to wrap up this week's podcast. Go check out the merch site, the Instagram, the YouTube. Especially go check out the YouTube shorts. Get to see a lot of other kind of small clips, per se. If you don't have time to watch the full podcast right away, go watch the shorts first and go watch the episode afterwards. Keep a special eye out here on the merch site as this week. Me and Ryan, well, mostly me. Ryan will be out of town this week, but I will be working on some new kind of merch, some new hoodies, some new shirts here upcoming for the fall and winter time. So keep an eye on that. Ryan, Pap, any final thoughts?
Go Bills,
Go
baby.
Lions.
Go Giants.
Go Lions, man.
And there goes Pap's phone. But that's going to wrap up this week. We appreciate you guys as always as listening. Go check out the socials. Go check out the merch site. And we will see you guys next week.
See ya.